Even here, Fanatic Perspective, a special episode. I have three friends of mine, one of them on the right side, and two of them who were very misguided from Oklahoma. And we're getting ready to chop it up with these brothers here. And couldn't be more excited to have Nino's Corner on and Seth and Chris from the, unfortunately from the Horns Down podcast. And, go ahead and get out your system. We appreciate the branding. And go ahead and get out your system.
I asked Mac Brown, am I holding it right? It's like that. Just right. So
somebody's gonna screen grab when you had it up, by the way.
Probably me. Right, probably me.
Man, we're gonna have a great conversation here. Two very passionate YouTubers representing Texas. Two very passionate Oklahoma Sooners representing their podcast. Can't wait to chop it up with you guys. Before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to sponsor Fanatic Perspective, BUSR, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Hit up busr.com/fanatic. We have a current promo going on, Sports 100 FP, 5-time rollover. So take advantage of it. Hit up that link, busr.com/fanatic. We have a contest coming. It is in approval stage. Details coming soon for anybody that signed up on BUSR. Shout out to our sponsor. So without further ado, and while you're here, please subscribe to Nino's Corner first and foremost. We appreciate our brothers in the community and looking out for one another, as well as Horns Down podcast. If you, I know I have a lot of OU people that follow us, have been following us for years, quite frankly, and this is probably the last nice thing I'll say about Chris and Seth here, but they do know their team inside and out, and they're great guys. Football aside, but this is not a football aside conversation, is it, Nino? We're here to talk ball. We are here to talk ball. So heading into this matchup where the Oklahoma Sooners are 5-0, Texas Longhorns, Steve Sarkisian 4-1. I met with you guys before the season, and I know you guys met up when we had the SEC announcement. So I don't know. I'll throw it over, to my boy Nino first before I kick it over to Seth and Chris. But Nino, we haven't actually spoken, me and you. So how are you feeling coming off the TCU victory, heading into our matchup with our brethren from the North?
I actually like that we had a down, dirty, gritty, game. So OU's had a bunch of down, dirty, gritty games all year. That 40-35 against Tulane. What else? That little West Virginia win that they got.
It squeaked away.
Yeah, that little squeaky game against Kansas State. They've been running some tough games. I mean, like some gritty games. I will give them that. That is the sign of a true winner, is you win the games that you're supposed to win, even when they're tough. Chris, put that damn book down.
I thought we was talking football here. I didn't know we were going to talk about Texas.
But, I actually like that Texas had a dogfight. So this was a game that Texas probably played they're actually, I would say, like their C+ game, and still won the game. So, that was kind of encouraging there, but Texas has to step it up, just to beat Oklahoma next week.
Seth, Chris, all these squeaky games you guys are playing, what's the story down there?
Seth, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna take point on this one real quick, but man, I mean, it's not like how they drew it up, that's for sure. There's been a lot, and it seems like every game, I mean, outside of the Western Carolina game, we can just throw that one away because any team with any competency would have done the same. So, but these other games, Tulane, Nebraska, West Virginia, K-State, and a little bit less on the K-State side. That one was kind of a little bit more taken care of than the final score indicates. But either way, it seems like there's always been something a little bit different that's kind of kept these games close. But I mean, when it really just comes down to it, it just seems like this team just really, whatever area on the team that it is that's kind of limited, it just seems like they're just, I don't know, like, are they hungry enough? Those are the questions I feel myself asking myself as I'm watching it. Are they hungry enough, or maybe are they really prepared enough? Like, what's going on behind the scenes? Like, none of us really know what's going on in practice. But I mean, the coaches are all saying, the right things. Players have been saying the right things, but it just seems like every week they kind of look. If anything, it almost looks like they've regressed in some areas, like as the weeks go by. But I mean, coming off this last weekend, and I think for Texas as well, it was kind of interesting that Texas played TCU and OU played K-State this last weekend. Those are both kind of like teams that have been like the monkey on our team's back for a while.
Agreed.
Yeah, so like I think it was for both of them to pass those tests. I think that kind of really helped set the stage. I think it just got me a lot more excited for this weekend, and I probably couldn't have been more excited anyways. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. I know Chris and I have been talking for a month now about them, but I'll throw it over to him as far as what his take on it is. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like it's all over the place, honestly.
So let's stay with some of the pessimistic outlook that we all have kind of towards OU right now. Obviously, it's inconsistencies. I've been one to definitely point out the linebacking core. Our linebackers were supposed to kind of take that step this year. You're looking for a Guebu to kind of put his name out there as, somebody who should probably be a second day type of guy in the draft. But they've kind of been non-existent this year. You're looking at Deshaun White, you're looking at Brian Asamoah, and where's the production? You look at tackle for losses. I think they both may have one combined. Then you look at the offensive line. Obviously, there's some inconsistency there. But I think the thing to let's be optimistic about it. So if you go back outside of the West Virginia game, if you go to the Nebraska game and you go to this Kansas game, how those games kind of finished were kind of weird. You get the incredible interception against Nebraska on the 3-yard line. You don't do anything with it, trying to run the ball and get out of your own end zone. You punt it, then they score again. And so, I think a lot of people overlook the fact that, hey, if OU finishes that game 23-9, you're still not happy with the product that was on the field, but you feel a lot better going into the next week thinking like, hey, we can't do any worse than what we did. And then, like Seth said, you look at the K-State game and you're just like, well, the score was deceiving at the end. And you're looking at that game as well as you had two possible interceptions that you didn't capitalize on. I mean, it's a lot of things out there. It's a lot to hate, but there's also a lot to like as well. I definitely think that the zone running scheme and just getting Spencer out of the pocket, which he's been trying to do, because you can tell he doesn't trust the offensive line all that much. But getting him out there and having him doing things that he's comfortable with, I definitely like that. Do I think that this, I think that a game like this right here, if you look at last year, this was the game that really set our season, set our season on the way that it did. It really kind of shows you that trajectory that we were going to go, because they all banded together and they got together and they went on. And I think this is another game that could do that for OU as well. I won't say that they're one play away. I would say they're probably one or two units actually like just flipping that switch from being the team that we all think that they can possibly be. And I think that if you get, obviously going into the Texas game, if you can get K-State play or better out of your offensive line, I think Spencer has a great day. I think the running backs have a great day. And I think everybody's happy with the offense. But I feel like the position the unit that I'm going to be looking at the most is going to be the linebackers, because granted, I have nothing but love for Bijan. Should have been a Sooner, but still, I like Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is a great back. I'll give him that. My whole thing with Bijan is that, one, if we don't lose him in space, which I don't think we're going to lose him because he's not 5'6" like Deuce Vaughn. But if we don't lose him behind the numbers and behind the other backers,
you were supposed to come on when after Deuce Vaughn did you in. By the way, I guess you're here now.
Anyways,
I'm glad you're addressing that.
Like I was saying, if you can
do what with Bijan Robinson?
So here's my thing with Bijan. Okay, two things about Bijan. One, he's carrying the ball way too much. way
he's
too
not.
much.
For
He
one
had
game.
one
Too
game.
much. There's
was
no
one
reason
game.
why Bijan should have 30 carries for as little as
That was one game.
Be worse than Gary
he's carrying the
Patterson.
ball way
He's
too much.
been listening to Gary
Obviously, we know
Patterson.
he didn't carry the ball
Hold on.
against Arkansas.
Hold on. Let me pull up the stats for you.
Can I finish? So the second thing is this right here. Bijan takes some extremely awkward and hard hits. He leaves his body susceptible to some hard hits. And I'm telling you now, I don't know any names on TCU. I watched that game, but I know that those guys are not Isaiah Thomas, Perrion Renfrey, Nick Benito. I'm telling y'all right now, if our linebacker core comes to play and Brian Asamoah, Deshaun White, Agwebu, hell, Danny Stutzman, if he gets to play the game, if they come back and do what they need to do, I'm telling you now, if he carries the ball 30 plus times, he probably won't be playing against Old State the next week. I'm just going to say that.
Well, hey,
Okay.
well, Chris, let me tell you something. Let me bring up these stats first. We're talking about Bijan carrying the ball so much. This is Bijan's stat line for carrying the ball this year. 20 carries the first game, 19 carries the second game, 13 carries the third game, 18 carries the fourth game, and he had 35 the last game. Bijan has not been overworked at all, by no means necessary.
What about
the
the
last
passing
game was the only one, but we're talking about a 19-year-old kid, okay? He's going to be up for this game. He's going to be up for this game. He hasn't been overworked. That's one thing that I've actually liked about Sark is that he has kept that little rotation like really tight knit, but gave Bijan enough carries, but also gave Roshan carries and then sprinkled some Keelan in there as well. And then Brooks has gotten this shine in too. So Bijan hasn't been overworked. It's not like Deontay Foreman back in the day when Charlie Strong was running 51 times a game.
So he's not touching the ball in the air as well.
Bijan,
No, he is.
hold on.
He has 10 catches on the season or something?
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
not much at all. It's not
It's
much
not.
at all.
He has 10 catches. So if you average it out, it's probably, with the 35 touch game, it's probably somewhere around 22 to 24 touches a game, which is right around where Ezekiel Elliott was when he was on Ohio State. Like that's not a wild number.
He has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he has 10. He has 10 catches for the whole season.
10 catches.
Yeah.
So the workload if we're only going off last week, 35 carries is too much. I don't mind 35 carries in certain situations, especially the way we were prepping. We didn't know what the weather situation was going to be. We're playing a weird, Gary Patterson 4-2-5, all the stuff that was going on. That was the way to attack that opponent, and he was rolling. And he got 4 or 5 carries at the very end of the game just to run the clock out, which he was able to break tackles and convert. So and I know the carry conversation is really front and center because of what's happening on the other side with TCU and Zach Evans and that entire conversation. And it's juxtaposed with what we went through with Tom Herman about Bijan not getting enough carries. Yeah. And now, and it's a balance that we are all aware of in 2021 with running backs in general, understanding their shelf life. You see in the NFL, it's more two-back than ever before. That's why I don't even buy into the drama going on with the Cowboys with, Zeke not getting enough carries or Tony Pollard and all that. You need multiple backs. Yeah. So I'm with Nino in terms of, and I agree with you, Chris, about 2 things. I don't want to see him carry the ball 35 times again this week. No. And I agree with you in terms of the awkwardness in which he can get hit. He has that. You can't hide that on film. So you have a point there. But I'm with Nino in terms of the rotation. I do think that there's some meat on the bone to get a Keelan Robinson involved earlier and to give you guys a look that you maybe not necessarily have seen yet. Or Roshan Johnson, who has had success against OU in the past. So there's options there. If we end up with the same script that we had against TCU, then that's not favorable for Texas, in my opinion.
Not at all.
And that's a point that I know I've talked to my uncle about, talked to Seth about this morning. And Seth, you remember when we were talking about how do you think and the question was, do you think that Texas with Sark as the OC, obviously, do you think that he's going to try to run the whole West Virginia, Nebraska, scheme against OU, which is basically let's just soak up as much time as we can in the clock? Because I don't see him doing that. Obviously,
all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
Come on now.
I I mean, I don't see Sark doing that. And I think that kind of plays into our favor because you've seen the limited number of possessions that they have. And I really think that they're clicking. And I think that Lincoln always dials up a great game against you guys. As far as execution, sometimes it's poorly executed. But then again, when it's clicking, it's clicking. So I don't really see this game really going over about I don't really see this game going over 48 points, but I do think there's going to be some points scored. But I just don't know. I mean, I
When you
wanted to
say
know kind of
48
what you
points,
guys
you're
think.
talking about the total?
Yeah, the total.
Oh,
I don't
no.
really see this
I think
game
it's gonna be
going
more
over
than that.
48 points.
I don't know about
What's
you, man.
all right? Well,
Chris,
shout out to our
you can't.
sponsor, BUSR, because I'm getting ready to pull up the line as we speak.
Come on,
Go ahead,
Chris.
Seth.
Well, I was gonna say I got my score prediction already. I'll share it later if we're doing that, but
Sure.
one of the teams I got definitely is getting close to 40 already. So I would definitely bet the over on that if that was the over under. But
I'm betting the over myself. Seth, I'm with you, buddy, on that one, man. There's no way in hell this game is only 48 points. There's no way.
but then again, it's like
team.
yeah. But then again, this is that rivalry where it kind of more often than not kind of subverts expectations in a lot of different ways. So I mean, I really honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was like a first to 21 kind of game wins. In a way. I'm not going to predict that, but like it, just the way this rivalry is. Sometimes it's just weird like that, and you can never really predict it like you can in some other games. So, but I mean, as far as like the conversation on Bijan, oh man, I would be dumb to say I'm not worried about him, but honestly, I don't know if I think there's a Longhorn that I'm more worried about going into this game, just based on what I've seen kind of OU struggle with and stopping. And right now that's Worthy, the receiver. I just feel like he's the kind of receiver that, and I mean, I know last week, he kind of had some, he was up against the Patterson defense. Gary definitely saw that, saw what he's been doing. So, they game plan for that, right? But I just feel like he's the kind of big play receiver, just kind of dude that he'll step up, in a moment like this. And it always seems like there's a player on one side or the other or both sides in this game that kind of just has a breakout game. It just seems like every year there's that guy. And I feel like I could definitely see Xavier Worthy just kind of putting on a show for the Cotton Bowl. So I'm not saying like I'm not worried about Bijan at all, because I feel like he's going to get his as well. But I think the OU defense is going to be completely focused on trying to stop him, whether they're successful to that or not. But I feel like a guy like Xavier Worthy could definitely take advantage of some things.
Yeah, so definitely, Seth. So Worthy didn't have the best game last week, right? So he had, I think, 2 drops last week. So I don't think a lot of that was mainly like defense. That was him just not having just the mind frame that game. I think this week he's going to come out blazing. I just got a good feeling about him this week. I think last week he missed a bunch of blocks last week. It's the first time that I seen Sark just really get into a player. So he missed a ton of blocks last week. He dropped 2 balls last week. I mean, 2 balls to have it right in the hands, right? So I don't think he's going to make those mistakes this week, and it's going to be very interesting, man. Very interesting.
And to Nino's point about Worthy, those moments for young players, and this goes for everybody playing in the game. I agree with you, Seth. Those are the biggest. When you have a game like that, that's one of the biggest learning opportunities for young players, is that week over week consistency. Because I said this on my channel earlier, when Worthy had that performance, and it was an eye-opening performance, when you start to get accolades, when you start to see your press clippings, you got to follow that up. And that's a consistency thing. That's the difference between somebody that's cooking as a freshman and somebody who's cooking like that as a junior, senior. Mm-hmm. It's week over week over week. Now, for our case, I'm glad that he had that type of game last week, because we were still able to win, and we really, really need that firepower in this game, because going back to Chris's point about the possessions, that was clearly Kansas State's plan against y'all, especially in the first half, which is why they kept going for it on 4th down. They held on to the rock. I think you guys had 2 or 3 possessions total in the first half.
Yeah.
In the first half, that you only had the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
So their plan was blatantly obvious, right?
Brilliant.
So with us, where Steve Sarkisian, traditionally has not, I would be surprised if we followed that type of script because that's never been how he is as a play caller. And I think this is a meeting of the minds between him and all of the accolades he's received as a play caller and what we know of Lincoln Riley. And I kind of expect to see a show. I looked it up while you were talking, Chris. The total right now on the game is 63 points. So still not a crazy number. We were at 65. We were at 65 last week against TCU, and we were only at 61 for when we played Tech. So the number right now is 63. I don't know if that moves, but it's really, really interesting to see the possession game. And if somebody tries to run tempo here, some of the little wrinkles that I think, Lincoln will have for Texas that he's had in the past, and that Steve Sarkisian is bringing to this series, to this rivalry.
I would, if I could just jump in real quick, I want to piggyback kind of off of Seth's point. I'm not so much worried about Xavier Worthy, to be honest with you. Like the kid, like what he's doing down there for Texas, but with Duvernay, Eagles, people like that who's supposed to be speeds, burners out there on the field. OU's been fine against those players. It's the Whittingtons of the world that kind of actually worry me because that's a guy kind of like Drake Stoops, where he seems to be in the right spot at the right time. You look at Whittington, and hell, let's be real.
Hey, I'm taking some offense to that, bro.
No, wait a minute.
Candid compliment.
We comparing him to
Drake Stoops?
He's a top 10 player on
Whittington to Drake Stoops is actually a diss to Drake Stoops. And Drake, if you listen to this podcast, you listen to his YouTube show, I am sorry, bro. I am so sorry.
Child, please.
But anyways, like I was saying, though, he seems to be in the right place at the right time. Now, we all can admit that he should have caught that damn touchdown pass that Hunter Carr threw to him in the Arkansas game now. It hits your fingertips. You should catch it. Come on.
No, he's had some up and downs, too.
He has.
And coming into this season, in all fairness to Jordan Whittington, he had played 6 football games over 2 years. So the experience level for him isn't great. That's not an excuse to drop passes or anything like that. I'm just saying from a consistency standpoint, he's now, considered one of the go-to guys, and he's still learning on the fly as well. So,
we already know because a Sark script every game. Those first 8 or 9 plays or so, we definitely see who you guys playmakers are. If Bijan's not getting the ball, you're definitely looking at Worthy or Whittington. Yeah. Maybe somebody you sneak underneath. Other than that, it's the offense really runs through Bijan. Obviously, Bijan's the first option. But you guys are getting solid wide receiver play, especially from those two right there early on in the season. Now, if Josh Moore could show up and be that consistent third piece and be the WR1 that we all thought he would be, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I should pay more attention to Texas. But when you got 2 wide receivers out there who are balling, and then one that's supposed to be another go-to for you who's kind of been non-existent, he's about as non-existent as our linebacking core is. I think he caught one pass against TCU, and I was just like, wait a minute, is that who I think it is?
Sure, you're right. You're right.
The thing with him is we can't hit him on a deep ball, So we, like first play of the game, like last game was a deep ball to him. He was wide open. Just right off his fingertips. Casey just barely overthrew him. So it's just a matter of getting that deep ball down pat. If we can get that down pat, I think so far this season, we've probably left 28 points on the table just from missing deep balls. But, Sark's trying to get him involved. He's definitely trying to get him involved, but he wants him to actually stretch the field. We just can't get that play down pat yet.
No. Chris, it's really hard for me to take you seriously when you're comparing Jordan Whittington to Drake Stoops.
And he's not on Drake Stoops.
Jordan Whittington.
Look at the production.
Excuse me, sir. Jordan
no
Whittington,
ranking.
I
Look at the
believe, has
rings
more
that Drake
production
Stoops has.
than Marvin Mims so far this year. I could be wrong on that if I can get a stat check from somebody. But I think Jordan Whittington's been more productive than Marvin Mims. And,
I mean,
you know, it's just
Marvin
really
Mims-
hard to hear that type of comp when Drake Stoops is going to be a really dope GA someday. Okay? like,
God.
shout out to him. And he's got a
What is
great
Whittington
future
going to
helping
be?
up. Jordan Whittington's going to play on Sundays, health
He's going
willing.
to play on Sunday.
He's going to play on
Chris,
Sundays.
Chris,
Watch
watch
that
that game.
prospect.
man.
No, let me tell you about
Knock
Jordan
it
Whittington.
off.
You guys are going to see it this weekend. Let me tell you about Jordan Whittington. Jordan Whittington reminds me so much of Devin Duvernay. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's a running back. He's a straight up running back. He's a very powerful guy when it comes. I mean, his just strong legs, man.
If Devin Duvernay couldn't run fast right now, he would not be in the NFL because he did nothing while he was at Texas.
Then why'd you guys recruit him so hard?
Nothing.
Then why'd you guys recruit him so hard?
I know you guys wanted him bad.
Well, hell yeah, we recruited him out of high school. He was playing then. What did he do for y'all?
I mean, all he did
Devin
was
Duvernay only had
Devin Duvernay was
the second greatest
country
wide receiver season in Texas history.
Okay.
Wait, I'm just trying to
pay attention. Yeah, what'd you say?
I'm trying to remember who scored the very last touchdown last year in the 4 overtime game. The very last touchdown scored
Drake
by
Stoops is a phenomenal college. Is a phenomenal complimentary college receiver, and he's going to be a fantastic GA someday.
I'd say this right here. If Drake Stoops got drafted in the 6th round, and somebody for some crazy ass reason took Jordan Whittington in the 4th round, I would look at Drake Stoops as having a better career because I would say, you know what, he ends up somewhere like New England, Wes Welker all day, Mr. Reliable.
Bro, stop it! Do you know what Wes Welker did at Texas Tech?
At Texas Tech, I know, right?
Bro,
Chris,
he was catching like 150 balls a year.
All it takes is the right system. Hell yeah, you would have been catching 150 balls a year too on Mike Leach's offense. Are you serious?
And Drake Stoops is in whose offense?
I know. He should be catching how many balls a year then?
They only get 9 possessions a game. That's the only reason why he's not.
Seth is such a good wingman. Seth is such a good wingman with the coverage.
You hear the excuses?
That's Reginald right there. Look at me. And if we want to compare and contrast, don't you ever in your life compare Sark to Lincoln Riley. Sark had
Why not?
2 good
As a play,
years.
I'm not talking about
1.5 good years.
Caller.
See, that's the thing. I think Texas fans need to understand. I think Texas fans need to understand this thing right here. After that Arkansas game, I think that was a reality set in that, oh snap, especially for the coach. Oh, this ain't Bama no more. This is Texas. This ain't Bama. We don't have Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and all of them. We got Joshua Moore. I mean, come on, man. Coach 30 guys should make a video about him.
Now, hey, you know what? After the Arkansas game, we finally realized that our backup was playing starting minutes. And after that, we've been on a roll. That's just what I'm saying.
Matter of fact, Steven, what you think about what's your thoughts about Casey?
So, I think this is a phenomenal spot for him. Well, first off, in terms of what we're seeing from the season, he's a leader, right? And that's the kind of juice that they needed, especially with them installing stuff. They're still installing on the fly. This team's built around Bijan Robinson with the offensive line struggles that they had. Casey Thompson seemed to be a better fit than moving to the outside zone, which is kind of where they got into at the end of last season. It was just too late. And Casey Thompson fits that. Last week was his first road start, and he ran into some adversity. So like I said, he played a gritty football game. Now this is the emotional test. Last week was, a lot of the things that Gary Patterson's going to have dialed up for you because they always treat the Texas game like a bowl game.
Yeah.
This week is the emotional homecoming of sorts for Casey Thompson. So I think as the juice and the emotion that he plays with is a positive for him because I know that he's going to come out there and guys play for Casey. They respond to Casey. There's no doubt about that. He has his flaws. He's not. I mean, I think some people are going a little overboard with some of the things that are being said. I mean, there were balls that TCU linebackers got their hands on in the red zone. He has to be a little bit more mindful in terms of ball security and when to take his shots. But if Casey Thompson's a juggernaut to me, and what I mean by that is he's the type of dude, if he can get up 14-0 or get off to a really good start, we're rolling like you saw in that Texas Tech game, or like you saw when he got in against Colorado. So, I think that's something that Sark is going to be very mindful of coming into this game, Chris.
Come on,
Look,
Chris.
I'm fine with everything you said except for the Colorado stuff. Let's leave that back there. We know what Colorado is, okay?
I mean, Colorado almost beat Texas A&M this year.
Yes, but can we all agree? That's one thing we all can agree on. Texas A&M, say it with me. Frauds. All right, everybody on three.
One thing we can agree on.
Look. 1, 2, 3. Frauds.
And they just paid the coach another $95 million for having that COVID season. Fully guaranteed. I want his agent. I want his agent.
Yo, the Jimbo Fisher Kaiser Sose gif, that took me out, man. Because the guy is a bank robber at this point. No doubt about it. Took their money.
He's a notorious 8-5 coach every year. And
minus James.
People were like, his quarterbacks, like, I don't even know. Like, every one of the last night, I hear King, and I'm like, oh, that's a quarterback. I hear Calzada, and I'm like, what is that a Taco Bell? And I hear and I'm like, he got no underwear.
What about Stour, Chris? Stour's a tight end now.
You
How
said
you recruit
Stour?
a guy last year to play quarterback, and then as soon as he gets on campus, you move him to tight end. It's the only quarterback you had in your whole class.
They're lying to those kids down there. But I do want to. No, they're lying to those kids over there. But Chris, I mean, in terms of the Casey Thompson point, I throw the question back at you the other way. What's up with the drama with Spencer Rattler? Where there's smoke, there's often fire, right? And so you guys are booing your own quarterback. And I know the brother completed 90% of his passes last week and seemed to get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
What a dude! The smoke.
Yeah, Seth, what is his? Granted, the picks. Some of the picks have been a bit, they're terrible. But when you look at his completion percentage, I mean, it's almost damn near at 85%.
Yeah,
why do you guys want Caleb Williams to play so bad?
I think
the student section. Go ahead, Seth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think what it is, and I was definitely one of the more vocal people about, like, I disagreed with the booing and the chanting, because that's just like, I just feel like it's just beneath any fans to do that, to do, you're at home, like there's such thing as a home field advantage for a reason, and like that should be your giant supporting cast. And yeah, like everybody, has a right to be critical at times, especially if they see some kind of egregious errors being made, or just, plays that could have been, just shored up a little better. But I think what it is for Spencer, I think sometimes we talked about this, Chris and I did. I think he relies a little bit too much on his kind of his talent, and he doesn't really let his skill actually kind of, come forth. Like he knows that he can make every throw on the field. He knows that he can read a defense on the bets. Like it's almost like he gets in his own head of like, I just want to do this one play because I just feel like doing this, throwing this one pass, or, to this receiver, running this particular route. And sometimes it's like you just want him to let, take what the defense is giving you, because they're giving him something every play. But sometimes it's almost like he's forcing the issue. There's a lot of, he's thrown, I guess, 3 or so interceptions on the season. I think what a lot of people have a problem with is that there's a lot of throws out there that should be picks as well, that haven't been capitalized on by some of the defenses. We see them routinely thrown into double and even triple coverage, just downfield. And then that's another thing. It's just weird for a Lincoln Riley quarterback, period. But there have been no big plays, no deep downfield plays, really at all. Mims took one last week or against K-State for about 40 yards or so, but it wasn't a deep pass. He caught it about 10, 15 yards deep.
Gotcha.
And then so like there just haven't been any of those deep plays where you just, post or something that's going straight down down the field or anything. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the defense dictating it or not. I'm not.
It's there.
They're there.
It's just he's on the throwing.
Yeah, and that's it too. He will attempt some of them, and it's like a lot of times they've been underthrown. He had one against Mike Woods, I think the one that got picked, and it was severely underthrown, and the dude was open. He would have been walking in for 6, but it's just like and I think fans just feel like, well, if he's not gonna take advantage of what the defense is giving him, or if he's gonna continue to have these almost mistakes, then they just want to see what's. And granted, I think a lot of people agree, and I would honestly say, even myself, I think Caleb Williams has more talent than Spencer Rattler, but I'm not giving up on Spencer Rattler at all, and I'm not down on him. And I know he can still. I know he can still. I know he can still lead the team.
What's going on with Chris right now?
No,
You have a seizure? What's going on?
I disagree with that. I think Caleb Williams is going to be hell on wheels for OU, but I think Caleb is going to be right there in between Jalen and Kyler, simply because I think he's going to show you that he's a better passer than Jalen. But
100%.
Check this out. So
trouble in paradise. Nino.
Let's point out reasons. Let's point out why Rattler is not liked by the student section who was booing him. And granted, there's a lot of OU faithful who were talking about.
I think I know what these reasons are.
But here we go. Okay, so one, you had the crazy cool frat guy that everybody liked that did wild stuff, Baker. Then you had the cool, quiet kid that you knew was an athlete, but sat at the back of the class and just stayed out of everybody's way and just minded his own business in college. Mm-hmm. Then you had the preacher man, the charismatic spiritual guy who was
Captain
like, hey,
Squat.
I'm all business.
Professional.
And then here comes the hotshot QB1 guy who had a Netflix special about him and his life. And that rubbed people the wrong way. Okay? You're coming from Arizona, big money, big dude, big guy, big man on the campus. Come to humble old Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma people around here, we are the biggest Monday morning quarterbacks and some of the least athletic people on the planet. I love Sooner Nation, but I'm just going to be honest with you. And we love their critique.
He said that,
people.
not me and Nino. He said that.
Austin, what happens in Austin, though, is there's a bunch of raves where people get drunk and they end
We're not talking about Austin. We're talking about
OU football. Come on.
But when you look at it, just people already had kind of a sour taste in their mouth from all of that right there. Couple it with a couple of bad games last year. You saw what he did this year. Now he's just playing below the expectation that people had for him. And so that's all it is.
Sophomore slump.
I wouldn't even say a sophomore slump. What I would say right now is the fact that your offensive line has to create something for you. OU is a run first team. Let's just be real. No matter how great the quarterback has always been, OU has always had 2 or 3 backs that you're like, hey man, they could go start in any program and they're legit. But the offensive line isn't as nasty, as gritty. It should be, it can be, but it hasn't been. But when you look at Spencer, one thing that I will say coming out this week, Seth, you know it. You guys probably haven't heard it, but the maturity. First off, last year's team and these situations that we've been in this year, we don't win those games. You saw that in Iowa State. You saw that in K-State. When times got rough, you don't win those games. And then also you look at Rattler and you say, I think he's being mature about the entire situation. This quarterback, who's a hot shot guy that we say sometimes he doesn't use his technique, he uses his skill. He went to his offensive coordinator. He went to his head coach and said, Coach, I think this right here, if we do this, this will help me be successful, but this will also help the offense start clicking, start running zone schemes. You saw the pistol look. You saw a lot of different looks that you hadn't seen early on in the season. And I think one thing that a lot of people have said, it seems like we forgot, is we only have 2 scholarship backs. So there's a chance that you probably weren't going to see as much of the run game early on as you would like, simply because you're like, okay, one of them get hurt, then, because especially if Brooks goes down, I think we go down. Because I like Eric Gray, but I don't think he's the answer right now. But
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if any of you are president of the DeMarco Murray fan club, but what the hell happened to the running back room?
Yeah.
What did
Well, I mean, I can tell you what happened. We got one running back who thought stealing weed was still in. We got one running back who basically he's ineligible. Then we had a transfer come in, and he said he wanted to go back and be with his girlfriend. So hey, back to LSU you go. But I mean, that's pretty much.
Well, how are
you going to be stealing weed in Oklahoma when Oklahoma's got more dispensaries than the state of California? I mean, any frat kid with a card can hook you up, bro. Like, come on.
He's a Texas kid. That's what they do in Texas.
And then how do you go to a football school and become ineligible? I'm trying to figure that one out. That never happens at Alabama or LSU or I'm just saying, it's
all right. Come on now, LSU got more infractions than anybody. Plus
but they still play. They get him at the end of the season. Hey, Chris, man, true. But getting back to the offensive line side of the house, right? I think that's where it's going to be won this week. I don't think OU's offensive line has been the best this year. It's shown. Texas's has definitely not been the best this year. I think the matchup that I am ready to see, well, not really ready to see, it's going to be you guys as defensive ends against our left tackle. All right. Jones is the guy who I think you guys are going to pick on pretty much all game, unless we have Jared Wiley or a Cade Brewer over there to help him out pretty much all game. Every TCU defender that lined up against him last week had damn near a career game. I mean, it was, I don't want to talk about the kid because, these are still kids, but we're just going to keep it honest here. Our offensive line has not been up to par. And it's very interesting to even see how Bijan is getting the carries that he's getting now and getting the yards that he's getting behind our line. The kid has 51 broken tackles this year. Think about that for a minute. That's over 10 broken tackles a game that he has. And most of them, if you track them, there's somebody in the hole hitting him as soon as he gets the ball, right? So I am kind of worried about the defensive line for OU. I'm not really worried about your linebackers, but you guys' line is strong, especially against the pass. So our line is really good at blocking just for the run per se, right? So I think Sark might try to slow the game down. He might try to slow the game down and ground and pound it because he might not want to expose our left tackle and our right tackle to you guys' speedy pass rush, man. That's just my opinion.
The problem is that we got to finish.
Yeah.
We got to finish because there were a bunch of plays even last week. If you look at it, man, they should have. Skylar Thompson finishing that game was by the grace of God because there was a couple of times where they were coming hell on wheels off the edge for and aiming straight for his head. But that's kind of one of the things I would say if I had a concern, it would simply be one, we're coming off from probably our worst tackling game in the K-State game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Bijan is kind of like video game rules, almost like Madden rules, like Christian McCaffrey or gosh, what's the Derrick Henry?
Yeah,
Derrick Henry always is going to break that first tackle, but you want to set bodies at him, and we're speedy and all the rest of that. With Bijan, we can't go over there and almost get him. No, you got to put his ass on the ground. You got to shoelaces. You got to aim for the shoelaces. Got to grab those legs. Get around those legs, wrap them up because you can't let him go and get extra yardage. And, Grinch was extremely pissed in that presser.
He calls the players out, not by name, but
I mean, shoot. I mean, it does. It's like third down, fourth down. Those things are it's like a free play for people. You got to get Texas off the field. I think the one thing that I will say that I'm not truly worried about because I know we'll make adjustments, but it does kind of bother me just a little bit. It's just I know pre-Grinch, OU has always notoriously struggled against either semi or fully mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
And I know that, and to me, I don't think that it's the worst thing to have KCB mobile because Granted, you guys were blowing them out in Texas Tech. You see how sloppy his footwork is as far as when he gets out of the pocket and still looking down the field. I mean, he's thrown some picks and he's thrown some balls that I'm just like, okay, Casey, you look like Casey freaking Thompson here, but then you start looking like Spencer Sanders in other areas as far as just throwing the ball around. So I don't know, but
I have a question.
Those would kind of be some of my concerns.
So speaking of Casey Thompson, and more so because I think Nino really called out my number one concern as well, and holding up y'all's front. I think Nick Benino is the best player on your football team.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the best players in the country, and I all the respect in the world to number 11. The brothers I have questions about are the usual suspects. Brothers that are just as old as you guys, Pat Fields and Delarian Turner Yell. How much eligibility do these people have?
I mean, Caleb Kelly is still playing on the team. That dude's.
I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Did they play with Baker? Like
Yeah, some of them did.
Yeah. Like freshman year with him, right?
That's funny. I'll give you that. But a lot of teams.
Is Delarian Turner Yell going to play in this game?
You said what?
Is he going to play in this game?
Talking about Trouble?
No, Turner Yell.
That's his nickname, Trouble. See, is what you got. Look, you're gonna be. Look, oh my god.
People that old have nicknames.
Okay.
Okay.
Lincoln Riley's press conference today. He didn't specify anybody as far as their injury status, but he said the guys are progressing. So he's just playing it real close to the vest. So we won't know until kickoff who's in or who's not.
Who's eligible.
So when OU blows y'all out, do you think Sark after dark comes back?
38-34 Texas.
If we talking about grown men with nicknames, let's talk about Sark after dark real quick. Does he peep his head out sometime this year as far as getting beat by teams that he has no business getting beat by?
All right, Brisket Riley.
But in all seriousness, though, yeah, let's go there. I got OU winning this game by 10 plus.
Can you explain how you're getting to this outcome, please?
Yeah. Because I'm gonna be real with you. Nothing about your defense scares me. The defense that OU has to get over Hill is their own, is themselves. Hell, the offensive line comes out there and play. There's no way. And if Spencer is on pretty much like he was against K-State, you guys are not going to have success against them. I think that. I mean, do you see the defense, your defense running that whole soft zone? Because that's the thing. I think a lot of people are thinking Texas is going to come in here with that same scheme as a K-State, or West Virginia, or Nebraska. I don't see them doing that. I don't. And as rough as our offense
is Nebraska's defense good?
Nebraska's defense?
It's underrated.
It's underrated.
Oh, okay. When they play y'all, they're underrated, but they suck against Illinois. I see where this goes. They suck against Illinois, but they underrated when they play.
They shut down Northwestern.
We talk about Northwestern. Come on now. That's like saying we talking about Texas Tech.
Let's talk about this.
I'm just trying to figure out how Nebraska was able to box you up a little bit. I'm just curious.
I'm still trying to figure out how Arkansas was able to get to y'all quarterback every play with a 3-man front. Y'all have 5 people out there blocking. How does it get there with 3 people? That makes no sense.
How do you not sack somebody with one leg?
How do you give up 344 yards
with all
on the
those
ground?
Defensive linemen? We can do this all day long.
All day long.
All day. But I'm just saying. There's no look. If Spencer comes out there and plays the game, we know he can. No, when Spencer comes out there and plays the game, we know he can.
We'll make him go sit down again in the second quarter.
There's no way that Texas can stay on the field with OU. And I'm just gonna be real. There's no way. Skill players wise, come on, man.
No
Mike
way.
Woods, Mims.
What have you seen from your football team this season to give you that level of confidence?
What have y'all done this year at the wide receiver position?
You said what?
What have y'all done this year at the wide receiver position?
Don't
What
worry
are y'all
about
averaging,
it.
like 20 points a
I don't
game?
know what y'all are. Y'all 4-1.
I know. I'm gonna be honest. Take the K-State game out. What are y'all averaging now? About 20 points a game minus the K-State game. Maybe 25 points a game.
Yeah, because the Western Carolina's games boosted up your stats.
Western Carolina. I don't want to talk about that. My cousin plays for Western Carolina. I don't want to talk about that. Not really.
Why did his cousin catch a stray?
He plays for Western Carolina.
Your cousin didn't deserve that, bro.
Hey man, I gotta tell him, bro. I'm like, bro, man, 76-0, man. Come on, bro. But it's Western Carolina, man. It's Western Carolina.
Is
take
there
away
any
that
concern? Nino, I have a question for you.
What's up?
At what point do we have a conversation? Because they're bringing up Arkansas. At least Arkansas has some skins on the wall. I know they got massacred by Georgia, but Georgia's going to do that to everybody. Look, they've destroyed Clemson's program. They ended the run over there at Clemson. My question, though, is in terms of if we're comparing resumes, right, of this season, because all his energy is coming from what they've done previously.
Yeah.
He's not getting this energy from what he's seen from his football team this season. But my question, is at what point do we really have a serious conversation about strength of schedule and who people have played? Because these teams, these Nebraska, the same West Virginia team that y'all needed a walk-off field goal against.
Texas Tech whooped that butt.
Right? So
spanked them.
Let's I'm just saying, I'm just going off of what we've seen from these teams this year. Is that not a fair question, guys?
That's a very fair question. I'm telling you.
Okay, so you're telling me Louisiana, Arkansas, Rice, Texas Tech, and TCU.
Rice is better than Western Carolina.
Okay.
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
OU would have hung 50 plus on them too.
And we would have hung 80 on Western Carolina.
And guess what? We would have scored 50 on Tulane. And I gave up 35.
Oh no.
I'll tell you this right here. We showed when they gave up 344 yards to Arkansas with three running backs back there. I mean, hell, were they running a wishbone on y'all?
Tulane's like 1-3
Tulane,
right now.
You guys had to go to the last second against the Green Wave.
And you got a home game you weren't supposed to get.
No, technically that's a road game. Technically that was a road game.
I don't want to hear nothing about no damn road game. Man, y'all Oklahoma, man.
All I know
y'all
is
Oklahoma.
Right all I know is this right here is that this is typical Texas fans. This is typical Texas nonsense. They come in here every year. We're back and we're gonna do this. We're gonna beat y'all. You know who y'all sound like right now? You know y'all sound like? Y'all sound like some damn Poke fans, and y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
We sound like winners because we're gonna win this week.
Winners.
We sound like
what
winners.
Have y'all won?
I'm drinking that winners juice right now.
I would like to
6 Big 12 championships in the last 6 years. 6 straight.
We're gonna win the last one in the Big 12 this year. Look here. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what it is. The Big 12 is Texas's. I'm gonna call it the shit sandwich. All right, we won the first one. That's the good part. That's the bread. The rest of that stuff in between, you know what? It's the Big Mac, right? We let y'all have a few of them, and then there's another piece of bread, that championship in 05-06 year, and then just some more stuff from OU here, and then we're gonna close it up this year, get that championship in the last year of the Big 12 before we go to the SEC, and we're gonna say, hey, we opened it up, won it. In the middle, we got that championship, greatest game of all time, and then after that, we're gonna come in there and win it the last season, and it is what it is.
Well,
open it and closed it.
All I know is this right here. When y'all got took to the woodshed by Arkansas, the SEC called and almost uninvited everybody from around these parts because they was like, they ain't gonna work around here.
And then
that same conference call went out again after Tulane.
And then you guys called the SEC and begged to keep us there because we're gonna help pay y'all damn fees to get into the SEC. Nobody
asking y'all for money.
Look,
y'all bought y'all way into being a blue blood.
Joe Castiglione is a smart man. He understands that Texas is a stimulus package. He's smart enough to understand.
Texas is a stimulus. That's what you got. You got a winning brand and a money brand. That's it. And you already know where the winners are at.
But in all seriousness, my confidence about this matchup as a Texas fan, part of it is my team. The other part of it is what I've seen from you guys. This conference is open. It's like last year. But the thing is, last year, Y'all use this game. Last year, bro, you can put your head in your hands all you want to. You were about to be 0-3 in the Big 12. That's
everybody
facts.
will say. Everybody will tell you.
Y'all were so at one point you were 1-2. You were this close to being 0-3 in the Big 12.
And that's fine.
The conference was open.
We're 5-0.
And the conference is open again.
Understand. Nick will tell you. You know, Nick like to take his digs at OU. Nick will tell you because he's honest. He's honest with himself. Before you could talk all this noise about OU, somebody gonna have to come in here and take it from us. 6 years straight means something. That should mean something to you.
I've said that.
6 years straight should mean something to you. If the Big 12 don't run through OU, then I don't know where it runs through right now. You're gonna have to come and take that. And I don't think y'all man enough to do that. And we're gonna see on Saturday, 11 a.m. straight out the woodshed. It ain't gonna be all gas, no brakes. It's gonna be all ass, no lube, and it's gonna be hard on y'all. It's gonna be physical out there.
Hey, bro, we talking like that. We talking like that.
Hey, man, you sound like you want to be in the cell with R. Kelly or something. All that kind of talk. I don't want to hear all that.
Some hard hitting out there.
I don't want to hear all
that. It's gonna be some helmet popping out there.
I'm gonna have to edit this out the podcast. Come on, man.
You know, I was about to make a completely different analogy, and my man took it with X-rated on us.
I'm done. Let him go. I'm sorry. I know you got your sponsor on here, but I'm just telling you now.
I know you got
OU,
bro. That's how I know y'all be getting under your skin, bro.
Forget the.
He's going deep into the bag.
Thing. OU 44, Texas 21, all day, every day. Let's go.
No.
So that's how I really know you're getting emotional now, because before you said 10 or more and you changed your score because you got pissed off.
And then he said that no more than 48 points in the whole game.
Right. And now he's all
it's
of a
up
sudden
to 65 points or like what is it? So yeah, man.
Well done, Chris. Seth, go ahead and give us your prediction.
All right. I see this one as like a lot of the ones we've seen in the recent history, where it's going to be down to the last possession, the final stretch of the fourth quarter. I see it being a pretty good shootout. Nothing like 2016 Tech OU, 66-59 or anything, but definitely I think it's a kind of first to 40 kind of win game. That's who's going to win it, and so I got. Well, first, my key to the game because obviously I'm going with OU, but I'll give that score later. But before I want to go there, I want to say that I think the key to the game for this is going to be the running game, and that's kind of what this game a lot of times comes down to. They always talk about the team that runs the ball typically wins. 9 times out of 10, or if not better. And obviously, it's like a strength on strength. Texas is, I believe, they're leading the Big 12 in rushing per game. Obviously, they got the premier running back in the conference, if not the nation, Bijan. And then you got the number one rush defense on the other side, OU. And the OU's played some pretty salty backs already this season. Deuce Vaughn leading the charge. Obviously, I'm not going to say he's as good as Bijan, but I've seen what they've done to all these other. Yeah. So I've seen what they've done against other run games, and I like what I'm seeing. So just by that, I think that's going to be almost a wash. But I think the reverse of that. So OU's run game with Kennedy Brooks, Eric Gray, those dudes. And last time Kennedy Brooks played Texas was in 2019 because he opted out last year. Well, but last time he played him, he went over 100 yards on 10 carries against Tech. And I think even though the O-line isn't as stout as it was back then, I think they're going to find something in this, and I think he's going to do something similar. He might even get to that point if he breaks one, but I think he'll do something similar with 10 to 12 carries, which I expect him to have. So I think the OU run game versus the Texas run D is what's going to decide it, and therefore that's why I'm picking OU 41-38. So I guess I think the spread is like 3.5 or so. It's kind of wavering between 3.5. So if it's at 3, I'm going for the push. I'm not confident in saying that OU is going to cover, no matter what the spread is.
Yeah,
but
it's OU 3.5.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I got them not covering, but yeah, I think, and I don't know if it's not going to come down to the field goal or anything. I think that's just kind of how it's going to play out. But I mean, and if it does come down to field goal game, OU's probably got the best kicker in the nation. I know Dicker's out there. He's got his legacy cemented in OU Texas lore, but
he's been sporadic.
Yeah,
he is coming off a good week. He has been.
4 last
I agree
week,
with
right?
that.
Yeah, but Burkage, Gabe Burkage, though, he's like you said, Nick Benito is probably OU's best player on the team, or he is the best player on OU's team. Gabe Burkage is way up there on the list as far as just talking about players. Like with what he does when he does his job as well as anybody else is doing their job on the team, especially right now.
I agree with that. Go ahead, Nino.
All right, man. So this all comes down to the offensive lines. We know Texas offensive line, definitely that's a glaring, mark on us. Same thing with OU as well, though. I have not been impressed with Mr. Wanye Morris there at left tackle. There is no more Creed Humphrey anymore. I think this is a game where I think Texas defensive line can, I'm not going to say do a lot of damage, but they can hold their own this game. Not really impressed with the running game, when it comes to the Sooners. I think, our linebackers should be just fine, especially Mr. Overshawn there in the middle, handling business. I don't think Sprintler's, should even try to get on the outside because he's going to get, hurt pretty bad against Overshawn, man. But I got the score, man, being 38-34 Texas. My key to victory for Texas is Texas's special teams play has been extraordinary this year. Minus the one play against our past opponent there. But Texas's special teams play has been amazing this year. So Keelan's had a block, punt this year. Could have had 2. I don't think he was offsides in that second one, but it is what it is. But they have been getting to the punter like at will. Jameson has been balling out this year on kickoff returns, punt returns as well. This whole special teams unit has been extraordinary, a complete 180 turn from the past, season. So Jeff Banks has coached them up really good on that side of the ball. I think the special teams unit for Texas is going to be the difference here, and I think Texas pulls it out 38-34.
38-34, Nino's corner. I'll go, obviously, with my prediction. So I agree with you. The special teams is actually probably the, game over game, the most improved unit. They even had some opportunities to make some plays in the Arkansas game. So, that's definitely impactful. I could definitely see Deshaun Jameson doing something or making some noise at some point. Special teams has been a factor in this series before, we on both sides. 2 things I'm paying attention to is which quarterback and receiving group hits on the deep ball. If one of these 2 teams is going to get it going in this game, and one of these 2 teams is going to exploit the other's offensive line, it could be both. And I do think that impacts that final score at the end of the day. With that being said, I'm actually going to pick Texas 34-26 in this game. I know, and I pick weird scores because the scores in this series often end up weird. They're not like traditional
24.
scores. Like really, really odd scores. The reason why I have 26 for OU is I think PK has left some in the chamber for you guys. I really think, one of the things I haven't seen is them blitz Overshawn really at all. I haven't seen much of, we started blitzing some nickel pressure with Anthony Cook and some other type of things. But I do think, maybe we can't win consistently with our front 4 against that line. But introducing, some things that OU maybe hasn't seen yet on film that PK, Jeff Choate, Terry Joseph, can potentially deploy, knowing OU struggles. And I think something's there internally at OU with this whole quarterback thing. I don't think that's – a lot of people were hitting me up today talking about it's stuff of the past. Spencer played well last week. The teams rallied around him. You don't rally around somebody on social media. You rally around them on the field. And I got to see that. I got to see that on the field, man. I got to see that on the field.
No,
that's not you beating Kansas State by 1 score. Is not that's not enough.
With a one-leg quarterback.
With a
one-leg quarterback.
I want to been 30. Again, it was 34. What was it? 37.
37. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
And
That's overblown.
And they gave up what? They gave up a kick return for a touchdown.
That's on the special teams.
Yeah.
Which is
So
my key
to his
game.
point, right? I mean, these are things we're looking at. But in terms of Spencer Rattler, I want to see it over the course of the season. I don't want to you can't just be like, okay, he finally had a good game and the whole team's rallied around him after that type of drama.
Okay. I got you. But come on, man. First off, you if you were watching anybody who saw that game, you're backed up 5 points. I mean, you're backed up 5 more yards. Okay. We're talking about special teams.
15 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah, you backed up all those yards and you kick the ball off to them or whatnot. You get caught up in back. Look, whenever that happened, I was not worried. I said, all right, they're going to kick the ball to us. We're going to get them run a couple of times, use that last time out. We're out of here. Okay. Look, I would rather win a close game than to be 4-1 right now. Okay. Games like this, for me, being the optimistic fan that I am right now, it's not the way that we want to win. OU fans are used to arena-style football, okay? We're used to putting up a lot of points, not used to that much defense. We got a defense now. We got more than a pulse on defense. But to say that this whole thing, it bothers you and all, it's a non-issue. Caleb Williams is not that type of guy. You guys, Nick, you talked about Casey Thompson talking about how big Hunter Card's hands was or something like that. How he's always
I didn't say nothing about no grown man.
I didn't say nothing about no grown man's hands. But that's two.
I didn't say nothing about no grown man's hands.
You said
I said the boy can pass the ball, he can make every throw. I ain't say nothing about no grown man's hands. We don't talk like that. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana.
You said something about how he was cheering him on and he's a leader and all the rest of the stuff. It's a non-issue.
I said
if there's one quarterback who can handle that stuff, I would say is Spencer Rattler right now, handling all that stuff. But Overshown, he's never been overshot. I see it now. 27 career games. Come on, man. I'm not worried about what you guys want to do. You guys are going to run that soft shell. You're going to run a soft zone, okay? Mm-hmm. That's what you guys going to do. And I'm going to tell you this. Right here. One player on the Texas defense who has been extremely disappointing in his 2 years there, Alfred Collins.
He's starting to wake up.
He's starting to wake up. Thank God. Because Coburn ain't doing a damn thing out there, to be honest with you, for me. And I'm just telling you now, underestimate this offensive line, and you're going to see some boys get knocked around this weekend. You guys going to see. Y'all keep messing around.
Wanye Moore's been a turnstile this whole season. Every time I see Wanye Moore's, he's been doing this.
When we come back and do our recap of this show, all I got to say is this, is that the bet, Steven. You're going to be wearing an OU shirt. Okay, you don't remember that. You don't remember that. Go back to one of your shows that we did with you. We made a bet and we said the loser would have to come on one of our the other show with an OU shirt. I mean, with the winner of the Red River game. Go back. It's there. Go back.
All right. Well, text me your Addy. I don't mind. I don't mind. Text me your Addy. That's how I feel. Text me Addy so I can send you some burn orange gear. I'll send you some a Last Stand hat as well.
I could get just with the all gas hat, just change that G to an A and change that A to an S right there.
That is so original, Chris.
But I'm just saying.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
In all seriousness. So, you're a lawyer by trade, right?
Yes.
Do you currently have an NIL deal with Spencer Rattler as his defense attorney?
I know, right? With them Rattler
because
shoes,
this is ridiculous.
Man. I can't disclose
like them little what worms or whatever my kid play with.
Okay.
He's on the payroll, bro.
He got the NIL. He got the NIL.
It's my practice. I do what I want to do. Spencer, if you see this, holler at me because you know what I'm saying for real.
Yeah, Spencer's client.
I can work it out.
I don't know why that just hit me, but Spencer's definitely your client. I get it, man. You're in the PR business. You got to do what's best for to represent your client. You're doing a great job at that, sir.
I'm just
because you are straying as a typical lawyer. My father's a lawyer, so I know how you guys roll. You just, repainting the narrative, straying from reality. I love it. Send me your address. This has been fun.
This is going to be a good game.
Send me your
y'all.
address, Seth. Hey, we're gonna get a care package for him because after this game right here, because I'm not gonna lie, after that Arkansas game, me and everybody that I knew watched every show. Every YouTube episode that you boys dropped. I watched everything. You saw Nick over there like, so man, this is how we can. We got to do this to get better. We got to do this.
That
to
is
get
not
better.
how I
And you
talk,
heard
man.
Steven over there. You heard Steven over there like, guys, we're gonna be okay. It's just one game, man.
You just wait till Saturday.
They really gave it to us, and they really showed us something. And I think that, and then you had Nick over there. I think Casey should start because he can run the ball 5 yards, and
he can. He's not indecisive.
He's not going to be indecisive like Hunter Clark will be.
Hudson Card, man. Don't call him Hunter. Call the man his name. That's like me calling him Point Dexter Rattler. You want me to start calling him that? Snake Shoes
Nino.
Rattler, man.
Nino, just hurt people.
About 1,000 of y'all views on those episodes right there came from me because I was eating it up. I was like, this is good.
You're probably sharing and everything. You probably
I was. Y'all didn't see those retweets?
Fantastic,
I was like, hey, yo, it's like check out my boy Nino's show real quick.
It's gonna be a good game though, man. Honestly, Chris, let's just keep it real. Whose offense is better, Texas's or Kansas State's?
Texas or K-State?
With Skylar Thompson?
Yeah.
He did the thing like they do in the courtroom where they act like they didn't hear the question.
No, come on, Chris. I'm asking the question. Whose offense is better, Chris? Come on, this ain't a hard damn answer. You know the damn answer. Just go ahead and say it.
It is hard because
no, it's not. No, it's not.
So
Skylar Thompson, one leg, put up 27 points against y'all. We got Casey. Deuce Vaughn is not. He is not Bijan. They don't have any wide receivers. Come on, Chris. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. Bijan's the best running back in the country. You guys know it.
You smart boy.
Who's better? Who's better? Who?
I would say K-State is a close second. With Skylar Thompson.
On one leg. On that one leg.
I'm saying healthy. You didn't see them early in the year?
No, I'm talking about when y'all played them. Which offense do you think is going to be better? This Texas offense you're going to face Saturday or that one-leg quarterback offense you faced this past Saturday?
It's hard
that one-leg quarterback put up 27 points of offense against y'all.
It's hard to tell because if you look at K-State and what they did, K-State ran a lot at OU. Set them my line. They put a lot out there on film as far as what they were doing. It's almost like they said, okay, we got Skylar back. Let's run everything in our playbook. Let's run different formations.
They opened it up.
They opened that thing up. They opened the floodgates on OU.
You're not answering the question, Chris.
You always going to play the winner. Right now, the Red Sox they're playing the Yankees right now. They're going to give them the best game in their life. That's what we expect from y'all.
You're not answering the question.
Little brother.
You're not answering the question.
Okay, I'll answer the question directly. Texas has the better offense.
Okay,
what it looks like right now, personnel-wise.
Stop. Whose offense is better, Texas or Tulane's?
Texas or Tulane's?
Yeah, 35-point Tulane.
Say Michael Pratt as a quarterback. He's gutsy. He's a gutsy quarterback.
He's throwing out all the adjectives.
Hey, Steven, you hear this? They suck. But when they played us, it was a little different. They
had nothing to lose.
Below average. They're a little underrated.
They were playing for the city of New Orleans, I
don't want to hear that, man.
Out here fumbling with by a
Who has a better offense, OU or Arkansas?
I mean, I would say OU.
I think
KJ Jefferson can't pass the ball.
But here's the thing about Arkansas runs the veer and shoot, right? And so that particular scheme, if you don't shut down the run or take away zone read or whatever, you can have a long day. We struggled with that, period, in a very, very crazy environment. But I would still overall take Oklahoma's offense and Lincoln Riley over Arkansas
and I would take Texas over K-State. I would take Texas over K-State.
But that Arkansas offense, you can't even compare your offensive line to theirs. It's not even
That's a good point.
It's not even the same. If OU had Arkansas's offensive line, you guys be running like crazy. against
I
any opponent this year.
I would wager to say that this Texas defense that OU's about to play is the worst Power 5 defense that OU's faced so far out of Nebraska, West Virginia, K-State, and I think Texas is fourth in that. That's what I'm throwing out there right now. So I think
the defense gives up some points now. Let's just be real. It's not like they've been great. I mean, hell, BJ Foster out there. I mean, Jesus, I'm glad he got a new regime because he wouldn't have played anywhere else. Maybe Western Carolina.
Just like Pat Fields, where I mean, what are you talking about?
And Pat Fields and BJ
Where
Foster
the hell is Delarian Turner Yell at?
Huh?
Is he okay?
Yeah, Turner Yell will be back. Don't worry. I'm hoping Stutzman is back too. We need a pulse at linebacker right now.
And wasn't Justin Broyles supposed to be like the next Derek Strait when he got there? Like,
don't bring his name up on here. If you want to keep his kid,
are you ready to have the Justin Broyles conversation?
I'm not Nick. I am not Nick. I have no love. I don't care if they kids or not. I slapped that man. I am not Nick. You leave that. Me, him, and Nino's corner, hang a right, go somewhere, and y'all can talk about Justin Broyles. Don't bring him on the show. We ain't got time for that.
That's your boy.
We ain't got time for that. No.
Wow, y'all doing him just like y'all did.
Brendan Rattler. I'm sorry, but somebody got to be the weakest link out there on that defense. People throwing damn just wobbly balls all around the field, getting hit, and then I'm like, don't get me started on him. I mean, he's the same as I don't even know anybody.
Y'all hyped Justin Broyles up when he got to OU, bro.
Sure did.
Who did? Seth, did you?
Nah, I don't get into recruiting though.
It's going to be a good game, man. I think.
Absolutely.
I think
watch out for Billy Bowman.
Hey, I think
Billy Bowman.
Oh, isn't that the same guy that was promised he was going to play offense? Now he's playing defense, right?
Yeah, he's looking at what.
I don't worry about that. Don't worry.
He was saying that probably he's going to play offense, but
McCutcheon coming out there to knock some heads because he want to show Texas.
Y'all got Billy Bowman taking on tight ends.
He said Texas kids don't like Texas.
It's a damn shame.
And don't run that Brock.
Billy Bowman, if you don't want producers all up in your videos and you want to play offense. Come to Austin.
One person I think y'all might be sleeping on though is Anthony Cook. He's having kind of a sneaky hell.
Who the hell is that?
Hey, all right.
Is he a fullback?
Hey, player, don't worry. Hey, you gonna find out, player, Saturday.
There's only one of us that play with a fullback.
Is he a long? Oh, he must be the long snapper.
No. It's the same guy that you recruited, guys.
Keep
the
sleeping.
5-star cornerback who's finally he's finally turned the light on, man. So he's
sleeping. Y'all keep talking about all these people. Oh, he's alive and he's awake and he's this and he's that. Somebody turn the damn light on and leave it on. It's Motel 6 over there because they need to be awake.
Chris
why
is
don't
so
y'all
woke, he
offense
needs
turn
some
the light
sleep.
on? Y'all, hey, why don't y'all offense turn the light on and leave it on?
We will.
Leave it on.
We're gonna get it in
Y'all
blood.
gonna be a
We're
slow
gonna get it
drip.
on paper in blood.
We're gonna cut y'all circuit, man.
This is a first blood match, man. Like on WWF. This is a first blood match.
I don't watch
y'all
wrestling.
sign y'all names.
I don't watch wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. I'm too real for it. Don't bring it that
You
wrestling.
too real for it.
I ain't watching stuff.
Steven had the hottest take I've ever seen on Twitter. Yeah, the other day about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I couldn't believe that.
I'm gonna make a video one day and explain exactly why I feel the way I feel.
Explain why you were just trolling.
I came out with a scorching one, man. But that's content for a slow day. We'll have some slow news day content. We'll save Stone Cold for that one.
It's gonna be a good game, man.
I think
it's gonna be some bombs that's gonna get dropped. Like neither team has had a deep ball this year so far. I think Texas is gonna probably have 4 of them. OU, they'll probably still have 0. But it's gonna be a game, man. 38. I'm telling you guys, 38-34 Texas, and once that happens, we're gonna come back on here, live show after this, and we'll have a great conversation about it. Yeah.
Just make sure your phone's on, Chris and Seth. I have a feeling Seth's phone will be on.
I'm going to be at the game, so you can find me right after on the field.
You know what? Pull up on site, bro.
Y'all know, hey,
pulling
Chris,
up.
anytime OU doing bad, Chris don't be tweeting nothing. Nothing.
Silence. I'm chilling.
You know what? I'll actually bring an
silence.
Since
The
I'm
minute
see
Texas throws the interception, look at your boy Casey, Nick. I ain't missing you your whole game. Here you come missing with me.
Yo, I'm gonna try to hit up Chris for his address. I'm gonna be like,
Done changed his number and everything.
Right. Gone off the
mama
grid.
phone.
Podcast has been pulled from Spotify. Can't find you guys. This guy without a trace. I know you got. I see the getaway bag back there. I know you got now, Chris.
Oh, you see Laura Hill back there looking at y'all like y'all stupid. She talking about
shout out to the
miseducation
Fugees.
right
They're
now.
about to go on tour. I heard.
Yeah,
so
man,
shout out to
Laura.
Laura.
Before we all wrap up, does the loser of this, obviously the loser of this game is still going to be in the hunt for the Big 12 championship, but is this going to be like 2018 where a rematch happens?
I think so, man. I think these are the two best teams in the Big 12. And I think whoever loses this game, which is going to be OU, they're going to play Texas again in the Big 12 championship game. And then we're going to smack that ass in the Big 12 championship game. And then after that, we all going to the SEC together. We're going to, like hold hands and sing Kumbaya together. Hey, Chris, I told you, we're giving you guys an $80 million loan, interest-free. You can pay it back 10 years, $8 million per year. That's cool. We'll just use our Longhorn Network money to help you guys out getting the SEC. Y'all don't got them dollars like we got them dollars. So, it's cool, man. It is what it is.
They weren't all this chipper and everything and stuff when I dropped that video, Seth.
You know what? No, you know what? That video was
so
well produced, and I so appreciate you thinking about us in that regard that I'll play it. I will play that video on the back end of this video before my sponsor's video plays. Just out of respect to you. Take that as an ode, because when you make a video like that, typically, karma's an interesting factor here. So I will include that video because I want people to see your energy, bro.
Dearest Uncle, I bring you good news from our allies in Fayetteville. The Razorbacks were victorious in their battle with those wretched Longhorns. General Pittman and company rushed the enemy to crush their spirit early in the battle. I'm told that Captain Sark and company retreated. We hope to send reinforcements to the men from Rice within the next few days to ensure that Captain Sark and his men are defeated again. My hand trembles from excitement whilst writing this, as we've finally gained a momentous victory whilst enduring myriad months of the Texas faithful's pompous belligerence. As always, there is only one, Boomer.
Even that's how much we mean to them. That's how much we mean to them. I mean, like, I'm gonna do some stupid stuff like that, And I did give you props in your video, Chris. You know I did. I sent you a
very
message.
well produced.
Didn't I gave you props, didn't I? And I told you to do something else on that video. I said, man, put it out, man. I'm not a hater.
Well, all I know is this right here is that when OU was victorious on Saturday, hit me up. I got both of y'all. All right, whatever. Y'all wear extra large or large? You probably wear a medium because you kind of small. What do you wear?
Come on,
the disrespect. The disrespect.
I'm a military man. I hit the gym more than you. Come on, player. I hit the gym more than you. Hey, I do more before 6 than you do all damn day. That is what it is. You talking about it? You talking about an Afghanistan and Iraq war veteran? Come on, man! Don't play with me when they come.
Y'all come to Norman. All right, y'all can come to my office. We'll have a little discussion about some things. All right. But yeah, no, hey, look, and I know we about to all get up out of here and stuff, but in all seriousness, though, okay. Does it scare either one of you guys that you talk about how piss poor OU has looked so far this season, all the rest of that? Does it scare you that you guys could possibly be the game where they put it all together?
No.
I haven't seen it. I will say this because even last year, so to your point, because I agree with the point you made about last year being the launch point to the momentum. Y'all didn't lose again after you beat us.
Yeah, still haven't lost since that game.
So you're right. So you're on this winning streak from that game. Would you say that you put everything together in that particular game? I thought that was a very flawed football game in a lot of ways. Y'all were the better team that day, but I didn't think that you did anything where it was like, oh my God, they just, it was a 4 overtime game.
But see, here's the thing. We gotta finish. Oh, you had a problem last year, and we still have a problem with finishing games because if you remember, I think we were up by 2 touchdowns late, and then for some odd reason, Sam Ellinger turned into Tom freaking Brady. So,
he turned into my man Vanilla Vic. Because he was out there moving and grooving.
Let's be real.
Damn,
he was out there moving and grooving.
Real. I've watched that game. I've watched that game a couple of times, and that boy, especially in overtime, him and Nick Benito were getting really close out there. They were getting really friendly out there because Nick Benito was on his tail that entire overtime, every overtime that they went through. He was there, but. Yeah, I mean
that one that what you just said is so questionable. That might be strike 3. I might have to check
talk about a man's hands.
I might have to check.
I'm just saying.
Check to the ref on that one, bro.
Look, all I know is this right
on
here.
That one, bro.
Look,
go ahead.
Don't be unrealistic. All right. On Saturday, when it's all said and done, and Spencer's wearing that golden hat. Matter of fact, that should be. Like when you recap that game, and when both of y'all recap that game, Spencer wearing the golden hat, that should be the Abby pick or whatever. Yeah, that should be the pick for that.
We're not making.
It's not happening.
Look, I've already made a bet with you guys that I hope you are men of your word and wear some burnt orange next week. I
don't think I'm involved in that though, right?
I did it. All right. Well, Chris, on the live show, that the bet that we've all made that the whole public just gets to see, when you're wearing your burnt orange, that's the deal. You don't get to dictate thumbnails, okay? So
I always trying to go the extra mile. I always trying to get more than what you come on.
I'm a lawyer. What can I say?
You got too much dip on your chip.
I'm gonna squeeze it in there some way.
That's the 4th time. We're not trying to.
If I gotta squeeze it, I'm gonna get it.
We gotta go on that, bro.
I'm gonna get it in
there. We gotta go, bro.
That's the 4th one. Come on, Chris.
Yo,
I'm trying to save you.
Fellas, thank y'all for joining and jumping on and doing this.
Yeah,
it's a blast every time we get to chop it up. So, we got our predictions in. No, not a surprise what anybody picked here, but it was a blast breaking everything down with you guys. As always, shout out to our sponsor, official sponsor of Fanatic Perspective, the official sports book and betting partner, BUSR, busr.com/fanatic. Go ahead, get your, for those of you who are OU fans, you want to take, OU in the points, go ahead. You want to hit the money line. And those of you who are believers in the University of Texas, Steve Sarkisian, let's do it on busr.com/fanatic. We got a contest coming out there for everybody that is a Fanatic Perspective follower. So really appreciate Nino's Corner. You guys hit up Nino's Corner. Please, please, please go subscribe. He's got so much awesome content and also connecting with the kids in the community over on Nino's Corner. And then Seth and Chris, who you just got to see us interact with. You guys can see why I call Chris a menace. You guys get to see it firsthand, but he's a hell of a lot of fun to talk to. Horns Down Podcast. And they don't just cover OU. They cover, week to week, they're covering the Big 12. So it was a pleasure to have you guys on. I appreciate y'all. Horns always up.
Always up.
Peace.
Horns down for peace.